I had to appoint people to keep the father and son away because they would have killed each other.
Oh my God.
In a 5-star hotel lobby. America, any student will get up and shoot 20 people and not have any qualms about it. According to me, religion has more to do with rituals, not anything about learning about yourself. We are taught everything. We are taught from school onwards, maths, physics, chemistry, vagara, vagara. However, we are not given any emotional training. Is there any curricular about it? We have forgotten to make a curriculum for that. And I'm sorry to say, even the many best even schools do not have any discipline.
This is True Rotarian, where service meets storytelling. Welcome to True Rotarian Podcast, a podcast where we talk about stories of service and voices of change. Sometimes we meet people who do not just build structures, they build spaces where people reconnect with themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have a very special guest who's someone whose journey began in the golden era of Indian television, who shaped public discourse through journalism, who pioneered educational filmmaking, and today has created a beautiful spiritual place called Eternal Oasis. When I personally visited this space, I realized that it is just not the facility. It is an experience. Please welcome Mr. Umesh Mathur to True Rotarian Podcast. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, we'll come straight to a beautiful journey that you've had. And before we talk about Eternal Oasis, before we talk about spirituality, became a cultural part of your work, we want to understand who was young Umesh Mathur many years ago.
Well, that's a good question. You see, I had a lot of exposure to a lot of spiritual people, God-men. That was the time also of Hare Krishna movement and so on. And I had a very legendary journalist as my boss, and that was Manohar Joshi ji. So he used to send me to cover all these, spiritual leaders. And in fact, I visited Varanasi even at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing was that I met Mahesh Yogi when he was allowed to come into India.
Okay.
During the era of Mrs. Gandhi, because he was always in Switzerland.
Yes.
And he had his headquarters and so on, and he was doing a lot of research work on TM, Transcendental Meditation, etc. I also met Prabhupada, at that time, so the founder of ISKCON movement, like that. So I have been meeting all these people off and on, and I was also instrumental in addressing 128 nations for starting a kind of movement for spirituality. That was the founding of the Council of Religious Leaders at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was asked to make a speech on behalf of the Japanese Buddhist organizations. So that was all interesting, but I realized after a couple of years that we are more and more going into ritualism and that kind of thing, you see, which is really, is it useful for one's personal life? Because there should be a knowledge, and there is a knowledge in India. We call ourselves a spiritual country. But perhaps we have not done enough work in structuring it for the schools and colleges and so on, because we really don't know anything about ourselves. So that is a great handicap, I think, in the educational system. That's why all this violence and all the frustration and suffering, that's what I think. And we have a lot to give and contribute, but perhaps it is not happening, you see.
In your earlier years, when you were young, what drew you towards media and storytelling?
Well, storytelling was, like things happen to people, you report about it, so that is a kind of a factual reporting. But what also interested me was, how to live life, meaningfully something. My school also contributed a lot in that direction. I studied in the Sardar Patel school, and so you see, the art of storytelling was like basically narrating your experience, like traveling in a cockpit of an airplane. What do you see? What do you experience? That kind of thing. Also, I experienced. You see. So, and also wherever I work, people force me to travel and visit many places and so on. So just an interest developed, curiosity about oneself. I even once traveled to some museum expo in Chicago in USA. And he said that at that time, a couple of years ago, he said we had about 40,000 museums. So I said, do you have anything about humankind, about mankind, or any such emotional aspects of human life? So he said, we have, sir, everything. He rummaged through his book, and big book which was. We have butterfly, police station, we have museum for everything. What topic you are talking, I don't know anything. There is nothing like that in America, definitely, and not even in the world. So that was very surprising, you see. Yeah.
And you began your journey during Doordarshan era, at a time when India had only one news channel.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and how did it shape your understanding of society?
You see, what I found was that at that time there was only a couple of hours of this thing,
Yes.
broadcast, and they used to shoot it or something. There was no digital media at that time. So what I found is that there really was a lot of scope in that, in anchoring. Vinod Dua started around that time also. But he went into the political scenario. I went into the spiritual art and, talking to film stars and so on and so forth. So there was a time Shashi Kapoor remarked, yaar, ye kya iske saath line mein lagna padta hai at every award function, because I held that many times, you see. And and I used to, at that time, phone the DG. I remember that Mr. Shailendra Shankar was there. And I used to tell him, look, I am coming at such and such time, so kindly keep the studio ready. And, so that because this Shashi is coming, or Sanjay Khan is coming, or somebody is coming. So all those people will also join themselves, that Mathur is holding this thing, let us go, he's our friend, that kind of thing. So that was quite interesting, because I already knew, and there were intellectuals like Basu Chatterjee also, and, and Basu Bhattacharya. So there were intellectuals at that time whose films may not have been released also. So there were hundreds and thousands of films which were not released, So I found that, our country has a lot of talent and everything, but that it is not showcased properly. I even formed the association for the industry, in the sense that I suggested to them. There were a lot of illiterate people also at that time in the industry. So I suggested that you guys are suffering so much. You have your trade problems and so on. Why don't you form an association? My friend had come from Japan, and he was so shocked that I being so young at that time. I was hardly maybe 24, 25, and I was talking to the association like they were kids or something, So that shocked him.
That was the power of Doordarshan those days, right?
That's right.
That was the only media house, no matter what your age is, but the place where you were there, that was the only channel which is probably available to connect with the country.
Yeah. And the masses. I never got a reference from anybody. I just walked in one fine day.
And you got a job?
Not a job in the sense that I just started talking to the first person I came around.
Oh, okay.
Like legendary programmers like Sharad Dutt and Neerja Jaguleri, who went on to do very significant serials.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very important people. But in school also I used to do the same thing. I would go to the AIR and do programs on my school or any damn subject of the other.
Wow. Was there any defining movement which changed your direction in life?
Well, you see, what I found is, working with certain organizations, and helping them to form certain, certain platforms to work towards a cause, like getting all the, religious leaders together or something like that, you see. What I found is that they were motivated by other considerations also. So that was a big, issue, you see. So that created a impact on me because I suffered a lot of guilt. Ki, look, this was an effort meant for this purpose and it was totally hijacked by somebody else, So that created a lot of grief, a kind of a grief inside me. So that pained me a lot. So I think, you see, there is a gap there as well. That's why we have not been able to turn out any very meaningful work, structured work in the field of spirituality. There are a lot of educational institutions, but they are all centered around religion, you see. So religion and knowledge, mind, body, spirit ka knowledge, knowing about yourself. Have you ever come across any curricula particularly about that? So isn't that a lack? It's a very serious lack in this world.
Yes.
That you don't have. So America, any student will get up and shoot 20 people and not have any, qualms about it.
You see, you worked across journalism, filmmaking, and education. Did these experiences bring you closer to a deeper question about life and the meaning?
You see that also, and you see there are a lot of adverse situations which come in your life. Whenever you do a project, a number of people will trouble you a lot, especially if you are making an impact or in terms of a land or something you are acquiring for your organization or on behalf of somebody, you are aggregating it. So a lot of people create a lot of suffering. So that has been a very big challenge, you see, and how to cope with it. So external situations will be like that always. This is a kind of a drama being played out, every couple of years or every 1,000 years, whatever it is. So how do you cope with it? You see, you mentioned that we can avoid stressful situations. You try to avoid stressful situations.
Yes.
So, but my work has been the other way. That how do you make yourself empowered to face any external challenge? Because today's some of the wrong beliefs include that suffering is natural, anger is natural, stress is natural, so jhagda is natural, marapite is natural. But is it really, you see? So can we transform another person? Answer is no. You have to first transform yourself, your reactions.
Today we hear words like spirituality everywhere. But in simple terms, what does spirituality truly means to you?
We are taught everything. We are taught from school onwards, maths, physics, chemistry, vagara, vagara. However, we are not given any emotional training. So while I may be number one in the world in academic subjects, but how about my knowledge of myself? How about the knowledge how to think? Is there any curricular about it? See, please note that this is it's a technical subject. You see, I have been talking to an American lady who translates emotions into drawings and so on. And I got a couple of sculptures drawn from her. So she was so surprised. Oh, I see, this is Indian knowledge. My God, I didn't know about it. I thought there was nothing but, the body and its pleasures and the worldly, comforts that we need to enjoy. तो उनके दिमाग में भी नहीं आता कि who we are actually. We are just a physical body and we are studying to earn good money, have a good life. But what is the good life? Who am I? What is my journey to be? What are my emotions? What are my weaknesses? How do I react to others' angers, others' weak emotions? You get my point. So we think कि नहीं वो तो बहुत powerful है. And we have so many false beliefs around so many things.
You see, people understand spirituality and they mix it with religion. According to, like just now you mentioned about spirituality and religion, would you like to talk about this subject?
Sure, that's a very important subject. See, according to me, religion has more to do with rituals, not about anything about learning about yourself. So there are two marks called in India: path of bhakti, which is total, surrender to God, that you help me out, you are the, I am the weaker one, and you are the stronger one, and so on and so forth. But what are we being trained for? To acquire those God-like qualities, or somewhere even, hundreds of kilometers of that. We don't have that knowledge structured in any way at all. But we know कि हमें अगरबत्ती जलानी है, पूजा करनी है, हमें दिया विया जलाना है, and उसको 10 बार है ना प्रणाम करना है अपनी deity को. But that is all over the world, you see. But nobody is empowering you to face real life. So that wherever you are, in whichever condition you are strong, you are not weak, you see. So emotional training, emotional resilience, reacting to situations, there will be negative situations will come. You get my point? But nobody is training you how to cope with it. So in other words, life skills. Knowing about yourself. हमारे यहाँ 5 शरीर बताए गए हैं. I'm not going into some kind of a religion here or any scriptures, but it's a fact. So they have to also be nourished. I'm only nourishing my physical body. I'm enjoying my physical body. How about my other things? So there is a vacuum there. No? So how can I live my life effectively? I cannot. I'm not equipped to do it, you see. So I am maybe going on the wrong path and seeking wrong things, in the sense that they will bring you grief at the end of it, you see. Everything is permanent, है ना, हम साथ लेके जाएंगे. That kind of a silent thinking embedded in our brains.
But it's not true. It's certainly not true.
It is certainly not true. Yeah.
You see, like they say, you come to this world with your hands closed, and your karma defines your present. Yeah. But when you go empty-handed. So that is something which very few people.
And you take your
understand.
karmas with you.
You take
only your karmas with you, because that remembrance, that smriti,
yes,
that theory of karma, you must do right karmas, you must be light, आपको सदैव हर्षित रहना है, you have to, be carefree. You have, just said, you were telling my daughter just now. So like that, so that is very important. Those skills.
Yes.
How to tolerate people, how to tolerate adverse situations, what are your, the qualities you need to develop. There is no curriculum for it. If there is in any school, I would like to visit it, frankly. Yeah.
So why do you think spirituality feels more relevant today, especially in this fast-paced modern world?
See, the problem is that, after COVID particularly, people really don't know how to tackle their own emotions, their own reactions, their feelings and so on. Because I really don't know myself. So I am reacting recklessly to situations, to tell you frankly. And I have no restraint. My anger has no restraint. My emotional reactions, my need to take revenge, my need to spoil relationships, and no tolerance. Everybody wants to be totally independent. He doesn't want to succumb to anything. So we are also on that path, unfortunately, in spite of all the spiritual gyan. Because we have forgotten to make a curriculum for that. And I'm sorry to say, even the many best schools do not have any this thing. They may charge huge fees, etc. But it is very difficult. Even the president, who has said that please go ahead and devise a spiritual curriculum to be introduced in school. And even Prime Minister has been urging people to do that. And he has been visiting, BK University in Mount Abu and so on, because he knows that, you need knowledge, and you need knowledge in a way that appeals to people,
So right now, it's right to assume that there is a lot of confusion between religion and spirituality.
Of course, because You see, people think that religion is spirituality and the other way, which is not true at all. I mean, I was told just jokingly by my friend that, NCRT at that time, about 15 years ago or whatever, so if there will be some Babas will come in Gerue Vastra or something, so they will pack their bags and leave for the day, So they will run away, you see, because they will all talk about religion or something. So they were afraid, and that may have been true, you see. So nobody wants to talk about secular curriculum, which is not connected to Hinduism, Islam or any damn thing.
Only on spirituality.
Only spirituality.
Irrespective of the caste, creed or the religion.
Right. So it is an art of living with yourself, with your mind.
Yes.
And we have to live with it, whether we like it or not. And we have to spend time with it.
Yes.
How we have to think about situations. Situations will arise. When you go to office, so 10 situations may arise.
Yes.
How you react, how you structure your thoughts, how powerful you are from inside. But if you are reacting, suddenly getting upset every day, so you are emotionally weak, no?
Yes.
You are not strong. If मैंने एक बंदा मिला, उसने मुझे इंसल्ट किया, मेरी ईगो को हर्ट किया, मैंने उसको 2 जड़ दिए. So am I powerful than him? I am not. So
No.
I am then very weak because I am getting hurt by his opinion.
Yes.
Whereas I should be emotionally strong. वो अपने उसका वश में है, अपने संस्कारों के वश वो है. तो why should I get upset about it?
What you said is absolutely correct. There has to be a total difference between religion and spirituality, and what is called inner engineering, which a lot of people these days have started talking about.
That's right.
Which is again building your spiritual awareness. So let's talk about something very unique that you created, the Garden of Spiritual Wisdom. Where did this original idea come to you? How did this originate from?
You see, we sort of had this garden space. As you know, Varanasi is a very crowded city.
Mm-hmm.
So aggregating it was a big challenge and so on. And it was not to be a public park at all. So it had to have certain concepts. So naturally, Buddhism is that is what it is about. It's a city of knowledge. Sarnath is the place to be and so on. So it was very important, I thought. Since I had the skills of filmmaking, I set up studios in Delhi and Bombay, and I had done my master's in English literature. So I found that I had some capacity to structure knowledge, and I had sufficient experience in art and so on to guide people. I had a person employee with me in my office whose family life was in a shambles.
Oh.
So he took a lot of interest, and he was an illustrator as well. So he took the trouble to understand the subject and the knowledge and so on. And he created certain things. And this lady who we had, that American lady, so she also contributed a lot in creating very difficult abstract things, art, to help me to communicate that in a very simplistic but aesthetic fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think art helped me a lot to communicate it in different ways. At that time, the sculptures were not possible to do because there is now minimum emphasis on working with hands in art schools. So that helped me to communicate, you see, in public places.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there a specific experience or inspiration that led to its creation?
Yeah, the garden, you see, point is the suffering is a fact of life. Buddha also said it is a fact of life. He was the first guy who said, look, it is a fact that suffering is there in life and there is a way out of it, you see. Nobody said that so emphatically and definitely like God Buddha did, you see. So, and then it got mired in, various kinds of interpretations because it traveled through all across Afghanistan, China, whatever, and very little reached Japan, really speaking. So I studied all of that and I found that they are doing something altogether different sometimes, you see. So I felt the necessity from inside that, it's such a beautiful religion and it's a beautiful way of life, and people are not able to understand it. So let me, and it has grown out of Hinduism. The Dalai Lama has been saying that let's
Yes.
have a dialogue between, I have grown out of you, and let's have a dialogue about it continuously. So that knowledge sort of grows, you see. So I think that has not happened very much as you would have liked it. So I thought, why not create gallery of philosophy? See, because I felt and I saw myself that the Americans study it purely from a academic point of view, the history point of view. They had not much interest in philosophy of living, because they were already clear about their philosophy of living. You see, enjoy life, there is a physical life, etc., etc., etc. So they have been very much preoccupied with it. Of course, there are intellectual pockets and a lot of institutions like Harvard and so on who are interested in that, you see. But that being a very abstract subject, in India I thought there are not many takers for structuring it properly. That is a great handicap. It has been there. So we can recite a scripture by left and right, but we can't relate to life. So हम लोग कुछ भी scripture को, उसके मंत्रों को उच्चारण करते हैं without knowing its meaning. I mean, I'm not saying for everybody, but so we don't really relate to it, or it doesn't help us, you see. So
True.
That is what it is.
You see, when visitors walk through the space, what emotional or spiritual takeaways do you hope them to carry with them?
In the garden.
Ajay.
You see, what I think it is a space where I can only create a chingari in them, a spark in them, to go more deeper into the subject. There is nothing more I can do, you see. Because when you have an experience of philosophy in a heavenly atmosphere, then you may want to feel, about it. Some people just come there for, बिल्कुल heaven दिखता है, तो बहुत अजीब बात है, it's very nice and something like that, you see. But a lot of foreigners come there for knowledge, you see, and for the experience of it. They will go and meditate there and try to understand it more deeply, the philosophy. At least they get a glimpse into it, you see. So I'm not just doing a laser show about it, but I'm not doing it at all, in fact. So I'm just letting you see certain things and objects and displays and aesthetic objects, so that you can take part of that experience with you, just with that insight.
Okay.
Whether it's about your inner self, what we call soul, what we call, the karmas or whatever it is. So it can spark an insight. If you're very dukhi and all that, it may spark. It may spark. It may not spark also.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Sir, I personally visited Eternal Oasis, and I felt a certain calmness. And, the intention behind was, I knew there was something that you were trying to create, because I felt it when I visited that place. What inspired you to create Eternal Oasis?
See, again, my desire to provide a platform to society, because I thought that the schools are not doing it, etc., etc., and neither for the children nor for the adults. Maybe a platform is missing. Maybe all these people will come together on that platform. We have a lot of respected gurus and so on, and we have to go to them. They don't have daily classes or something mostly. They are also very busy traveling worldwide. They are much in demand.
Yes.
So, and also they really cannot structure it, you see. So the disciples of yore, पुराने टाइम में भी ऐसे ही होता था कि बहुत 2 साल लगा दे हम लोग गुरुओं की सेवा करते हैं, फिर वो थोड़ा सा दे देते थे हमें प्रसाद नॉलेज के रूप में. और कुछ ऐसा ही चल रहा है क्या अभी भी, ऐसा क्वेश्चन मेरे दिमाग में आया. तो मैं काफ़ी लोगों के पास भी गया कि प्लीज़ हेल्प मी क्रिएट इट. फिर मुझे पता लगा कि दे मे नॉट बी एबल टू डू दैट बिकॉज दे आर गिविंग लेक्चर्स एंड सो ऑन, and very busy and so on. So I thought then I should delve into it myself as deep as I can. And I did that, and because there was no other help available to me full time. And so I had a small staff work on the research and all to help me. And then I tried to gather everything, you see. So that has been the case. Because you see, now in Buddhism also, when I have written 2 books. To Thich Hat Hanh, the legendary book writer, the legendary leader of Buddhism, my books on Kindle, on Amazon, they far outsold it in terms of a bestseller. So I was on the number 2. And Jay Shetty, who is the most famous author in spirituality nowadays in America. So I heard of him also. So I thought that was a great compliment.
Yes, it is.
And I must have done something right, perhaps, like that. So like that, things seem to be, interesting for me and my journey, you see. I simply researched into it. Because, you see, also in Japan, they were talking about Lotus Sutra and all that. And a lot of people in India also doing Nammyo Horange Kyo.
That's right.
So while it is very energizing, but is the insight into Buddhism really there as it emanated from India? That was also a question which helped me prod my way through, you see. So I created a space where people, artists, youngsters can come forward and do some kind of real meaningful experience. And there should be a platform for people passing through India and who are following all these things and all that. But still, this is a field which is that the awareness is not there, I mean, I really do not find, though people come and, praise it to the skies, but I think a real interest is still lacking in the subject itself. Because we are not aware that we should be aware that there is a need for spirituality.
True.
So that is not a very good, outcome.
Why build such a space in Gurgaon, a city which is known for speed and corporate energies?
You see, the corporate energy is also, they burn very fast because they are nuclear families and so on and so forth. So partying is part of the culture, and but they feel, disrupted in their lives, in family life and so on and so forth. So I thought that since there is no Hindi thing, there is no English thing, because they relate to English as a language. So let me have this space for motivational talks, for understanding about themselves. So as you have seen, in the last 3-4 there has been a growing interest.
Absolutely.
But again, people are moving towards ritualism, hypnotism, that kind of a thing. So that is little, a kind of a setback. Like you said, this is a kind of a ritualistic thing. I'll make you weep a lot. So it is considered catharsis. But some people mistakenly believe that Godhead mujhe mil gaya, Bhagwan prapt ho gaya. They are just doing oxidization of your brain, basically.
True.
If you do so many times this kind of a kriya, then you will start to liberate yourself from your old wounds, because the blockages that have been created, when you have a catharsis, it's a catharsis of your emotions. It's a purgation of your emotions. So all the emotions which are blocked inside you, in your veins and everything, once you do it so many times, so then I can start weeping, or I can start laughing in a very, disturbing way also.
True.
And so that is basically like the, healing, it's a Aristotelian kind of a thing. So,
How would you describe the essence of Eternal Oasis in one sentence, and what makes it truly unique?
You see, I would say, whether it is there or not, but the point is that a beginning has been created to create a good atmosphere. See, I mean, I have come in for a lot of criticism from certain people with maybe vested interests who say, "Arey, you have created a 5-star building. Huh? You were supposed to make a temple. See, but they say this because of their lack of knowledge. You see, Japan and European countries have moved far ahead of temples and all that. They don't go to temples anymore. For the last 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, as I have been studying, Japan in particular and Europe also in general, they create normal buildings, you see. And they don't have this pagoda architecture and all that. Our architect was very kind to understand, and he was a very senior person. He was been a president of the Architects Association and so on, Mr. Mehta. So, you see, he guided me through the process and, created very specific places. See, I'm not surprised because I handpicked the marble, everything myself. Very, very particular about the designing of it, you see. Because I'm a hands-on person, so I spent a lot of time in trying to create a thing which is different and which will be perhaps appreciated.
No, there is certainly a tremendous amount of positivity. When I entered your building, each space had a different aura. As a matter of fact, I spent over an hour and a half there the first time when I visited. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your, work spans media, education, international dialogue and spirituality. And you have engaged with global platforms and addressed important forums, as you mentioned earlier. Do you believe Indian wisdom tradition holds a special relevance in today's world?
See, Indian wisdom traditions only hold a very special relevance to today's world, you see, because it is based on certain specific aspects of human knowledge. They really define who you are. You have a spirit inside you. You have a mind. You have your purv sanskar, which you have accumulated over several births. So first you have to study that. But we have mistaken beliefs. You know what is the use of studying this? These are your basic constituents, which are not visible. These are a part of your subtle body.
Yes.
तो वो वाला ज्ञान कैसे आएगा? तो you have to develop a museum of spirituality and science. Science and spirituality is a very famous subject nowadays, but nobody has created that museum also.
True, absolutely true.
So I am interested to create that.
It's a beautiful step ahead. What message from Indian spiritual traditions do you feel humanity needs today, right now?
See, I'll tell you that many geniuses, including I think the founder of Apple and so many things, you see, they visited India because they were feeling weak at certain points of time because they were trying to do something very big. Something was depleting their energies. So they came, they became powerful, they created huge systems, and they have been publicly thankful for Indian philosophy, right? So that philosophy can be imbibed, learned, and understood by anybody in the world, particularly the younger generation. So we should introduce this subject in just when a person is just, a child is just 10 years of age, 12 years of age.
Yes.
But ऐसे नहीं है तो बेकार हो जाएगा, he will become useless. This is what the parents tell them. It is not like that. You see, you have to develop his qualities to tolerate, to assimilate, to forgive, so many qualities are there.
True.
So that positive tree, that even a glimpse of it is completely missing in the education system.
I agree with you.
Which is not good. Which is not. Apparently.
So let me ask you a couple of reflective questions. Is success without inner peace truly success?
You see, it can never be really, because you see, when you are suffering with negative reactions, you are bound to suffer because you are only body conscious. You are looking after only your physical self. So you will suffer inside. There is no question about it. Suffering is there in life. Let us face it. Whether we admit or not, or we keep smiling in clubs and so on, but there is a suffering.
There
in
is.
life.
There is.
There is no question about it. So first we have to accept that, and that there is a knowledge to be learned to cope with it. There is.
True.
That's the truth.
And what is the biggest misunderstanding people have about spirituality, according to you?
It is, they think this is some kind of a mumbo jumbo, unpractical things, and that it is simply not possible. They are talking about something which is not practical. We have to be practical, we have to fight, we have to have competition, we have to undergo jealousy, anger, all these things. So this is a basic belief of most people. You see, कि क्या बात कर रहे हो आप? How to forgive? I have seen, people fighting in the family, and they say कि हम इसको छोड़ेंगे नहीं, अगले जन्म में भी नहीं छोड़ेंगे.
Oh my God.
In Varanasi, I saw, I had to, by force, I had to appoint people to keep the father and son away, because they would have killed each other.
Oh my God.
In a 5-star hotel lobby, you see.
Oh my God.
So that is kind of a thing is happening in today's life, you see. So we have already gone very deep into this kind of a mess. So relationships are suffering a lot. There is no question about it. And it is time that we sort of wake up to this crisis within our self and our nation as well. Because
True.
the cumulative energy of a nation makes a nation, you see. But still there is a hope.
Any guidance to our viewers in terms of how to walk towards inner peace?
See, first we have to start learning about ourselves. There is no question about it. That there is a mind. It should be calm. It should be peaceful. It should not react violently to external situations. Whatever happens, you have to be happy. You have to be cheerful. You have to learn how to cope with the situation. People will always cheat you. Your own people will cheat you. They will try to take advantage of you. They will do everything, every trick they will try in the book. Nothing unusual about it. First you have to accept that this is going to happen and I should have my own empowerment. It should be my priority. Nobody will come and give it to me in a plate.
True.
So you have to make effort for that.
Absolutely.
You have to devote time to it, like you devote time for baths. So you have to purify yourself. You have to forgive yourself every day also for having entertained wrong or negative thoughts about others. If you don't do that, so you are collecting garbage inside your own brain.
True.
So if you keep on doing it, what will be the result? You tell me.
True.
It will start smelling very bad.
Yes.
So that doesn't make sense, you see. But this is what we are doing most of us.
This is most of the time, yes. So what legacy do you hope Eternal Oasis to leave for your future generations?
You see, I would think and imagine, and I have made a studio also there for this purpose only. There may be like 1,000, 2,000, 20,000 channels in the future in India. Many of them may be purely religious, but they may be also knowledge channels, you see, in different languages and so on. So unless we start a real effort in making structured educational content, so it is not going to happen just overnight by just our wishing it. By creating on mythological subjects or something, it's not going to lead us anywhere, perhaps. You see? So I think we have to have a lot of knowledge base on this subject. India is something where people are also looking forward to this knowledge emanating. That's why we have some tourists over there.
Yes.
But if we are not able to communicate, they will go back, just sightseeing again like us.
True.
And so that is the end of it, you see. But I think we should create unique places where through AI or audiovisuals or whatever, you see, people are taking our knowledge. Now all these overseas things like Mind Valley, so they have a platform for the other religions like Christianity and so on. And they are quite popular. There is a God channel. I watch a lot of them. There is no question.
True.
And there is a calm, and that is all Indian knowledge, which is meditation also. They have collected thousands of crores of rupees. But we have so many gurus, and we have so much of knowledge, and which may be secular knowledge, but we don't have even a single platform for it. Do you understand? So is that not a lack of it? So they are coming here and selling our gyan to us. Am I right? And not including our gyan in their platform. You get my point? And these are Indian people also.
Yes.
So what do you do? You see?
Well, sir, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your journey and creating space that helps people reconnect with themselves. Friends, if this conversation has touched your heart, please like, share and subscribe to Rotarian Podcast. And I will earnestly request you to please visit at Eternal Oasis. It's really a very powerful place where you get internal peace. The aura of this place will give you a lot of happiness. Well, thank you so much. Jai Hind. Thank you, Mathur sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also visit the Garden of Spiritual Wisdom.
Yes, in Varanasi.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.